Yay! All right, guys. So welcome to our February Flock Rally. We're just going to kick off with just a little bit of recognition here before we get into tonight's topic. But tonight we're going to be talking about utilizing the tools that are already in front of us to start working smarter, not harder. So I hope that's something that we can all be super excited about. But really quickly want to holler out our January enrollers, and Arlene, because you're on and I see your face, congratulations for enrolling 2 in January, and congrats to everybody else who made that decision to grow your team and pay it forward in January. Our top 10 and trip points right now, holler out to several of you who are on the call right now. Melissa, 86 points. The last time we were together, you shared a little bit about, what you do to hit that. So we also have Siba on tonight. Sorry, I didn't adjust your name on this slide, with 80 points. And Amy with 61, Bongong with 47, and also on tonight is Anda with 43. Does anybody want to unmute and share a last minute tip, point earning tip to help others score some additional points? I could have warned you about this. Any takers?
Maybe.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh no, you can go ahead, Siva. It's cool.
Oh, hey. I know consistency is one of those themes that it's constantly reoccurring and connect the dots and such. But I definitely have been more consistent in my messaging center emails. I know that's not it doesn't seem super glamorous or sexy, or it's not Facebook and you're not interacting with people in comments or on lives, but just all those people who are not connected to social media, or they just don't get on Facebook very often. I feel like that's been a huge part of the last, that's been a huge change I feel like I've done in the last 6 months, of just the first of every single month on only the big stuff, not more than once a week, but there's no magic number, but I feel like I get way more hits on that one. I don't know, that's not very put together, but that's my thoughts.
Love, love, love. And thank you for sharing that. That it's almost like you knew what we were going to talk about tonight, because that is absolutely goes along with tonight's topic. So love that. Thank you. And 80 points. Super congrats there.
Thank you.
Oops.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't want to talk over anybody.
Okay, so my best advice is don't give up on yourself and don't think that you don't deserve it. And check in with your team, because maybe they're scared to ask you on what is the best way, or how is help them map it out. I think talking with them and helping them map it out, or somebody not even necessarily under you, maybe it's just somebody that's out there that's just struggling. And just don't give up on yourself. We still have little over 5 weeks, and there's so much that can happen in 5 weeks.
Absolutely. And Diana, I'm glad that you spoke up there, because, I think you're a testament to what can happen. And just 2 trips ago, you had earned 13 points in 6 days or something crazy. So it's absolutely a testimony to what can happen. And, really, what do we have to lose to go for it? Whether you have 2 points, 1 point, 40 points right now, it doesn't matter. We have more than a month left of this trip incentive. And there's not a person in this business that has something to lose if you run for it, right? So if you don't make the trip, you did business activities that cause your business to grow. And that is always a win, no matter how it shakes out. So kudos to everybody recognized here. These are the top 10 in trip points. I know some of you on the call right now are really close right there in spot 11 or 12. So it's exciting to see all of this shaking out, and can't wait to see you all in Jamaica.
Can I add something really quick?
Please
Hannah?
do.
So there is a lot of events that are happening right now. I do a lot with events. I have probably 1 or 2 weeks to 1 or 2 days a week that I can really focus on my scholarship business. I like to do events, and while I'm having downtime at events, I message people as well, so I get additional sales from my VIPs, or I do other activities, because I have all my sets with me, or some of my sets that are represented, so I can talk about them to people and show them and create close-ups and all that stuff. So I would look for events because there's a lot of events running into March, April, pre-Easter, pre-Mother's Day. That's a great shopping time of the year. So I found those to be helpful. The other thing that I would say here is the fact, don't forget how you make points. And getting $500 or getting to a $500 get you a point. But if you help someone that you enroll qualified for $500, you get 2 points. So understanding how you get the point, faster the points, can help you strategize a little bit on what you focus on to add the points. I ran into someone recently that was trying to get all these points. I said, well, obviously, if you help your 4 people qualify, you're going to get so much faster to your desired points. So I think understanding how you earn points is important, and see which is the fastest path. So stay with your upline, map out the fastest path to get to the 45 and more.
I love it. And all such really great points there. And you guys, right now, with the way that our comp plan has just enhanced again, is with 150 PV, your new stylist is qualified. Your new stylist gets 1 point when they're qualified. So that's at 150. And then just as Anda mentioned, when they get to 500, that's still less than your journey from 0 to 500. That scoops up yet another point. So I love that the way that this trip is outlined, it's really designed to help others to find that success, and you're getting rewarded more for mentoring others to get started. Love, love, love that. And I love the idea of working your business at an event. I found that a lot of times the events have the best lighting. If you want to take pictures of your sets for a secret sale or something else, you can absolutely run a secret sale in the amount of time that you're setting up and the amount of time that it's happening. If you're not familiar with that, go to Flockstars, type in secret sale. It happens in Messenger, and it's one of my favorite things to do paired along with any type of an event, because it's just very conducive to it. Everything is laid out, you're multitasking. And again, Anda, that was perfect, because tonight's theme is about working smarter, not harder. And that's a way, even in person, to do that as well. Love it, guys. All great input. All right, January top 10 on PV. This is fun. I always love seeing these numbers come in and seeing what you guys are doing. Anybody on? Okay, we have a few. Julie, Misty, Amy, or Bree, and Siba up there at the top. When I don't change your name, it's like I always skip right over it, read right past it. So if any of you want to unmute and share a sales tip, we would love to be able to hear from you and your success. Siba already shared a big sales tip, you guys, with emails and what that's producing. Anybody else want to hop in?
I just communicate. I do a lot of communicating, because, a lot of times your VIP wants to sit here and watch you succeed in what you do. And we all know that the last couple of months have been hard for everyone. And that's okay, as long you could still communicate, tell them where just earlier today, I went on live actually and told them where I was with I don't know if you could see, but told them where I wanted and told them why I wanted to do this. It wasn't really about me this time. It was the fact that I wanted to take my husband, and I think I have 6 points that I have to go and do, which I think I know I can do if I just keep being consistent with my events and other things. But I also wanted to just, communicate to them and tell them, if you can't afford it, that's what hosting a party is all about. Because I've had a lot of people say, oh, I had to cut down because it's, I can't afford it right now. And I always have to remind them that's what hosting a party is, because why don't you host a party where you earn free products? So I think people are forgetting, they just see that they can't afford right now. And I think a lot of people are forgetting about the whole hosting aspect of the whole thing.
And there's so many different ways to host right now too. I mean, absolutely, they can host online, they can host in person, but hosting bucket parties, host a post. That's one that's often missed. Our party OTG, there's really a hosting model that fits every single person's lifestyle. And I love that, because a lot of times you're right, Misty, if there's something that we can't do financially, we almost like cover it up, whether it's out of guilt or whether it's, where our finances meet desire and we just don't want to look at it or whatever. But there's still so many ways that our VIPs can plug in and help us, earn trip points or help us to grow our business. And it's just making them aware of what's available to them. And making sure that they feel valued, right? And when they're not purchasing, but we're still communicating, they know that they're more than just that number. And that's super important. Love, love, love. All right.
Or do you want to keep moving?
Oh, Amy, no, go for it, girl.
I am insanely busy. And so where I'm struggling, honestly, I've had some of my lowest PV months lately because I've failed to be as consistent, and I've been consistent-ish. I'm always posting in my group. Well, maybe not always. I'm posting in my group about what's coming. And I'm always honest with the VIPs in my group. Same thing with potential stylists, as I continue to check in with them. Something that I did at the end of December that worked really, really well. Somehow it was New Year's Eve and I didn't do anything, but I was very close to ranking up, which earns me more points. So I'm hoping I can hit it again next month to get those couple of points back. But I did use the Messenger Center, and I should use it more often because I had more people reach out like in those few hours at the end of the month than I have otherwise. But I've also found I'm trying to like dip my toes into different things. I have been more consistent in the past than recently with parties. So I know I need to go back to partying more. I've done a few vendor events and some of them have been flops. So I've tried to learn from those. So even though like Anda, I know you're really good with vendor events. I think my message to people would just be figure out what works for you, figure out what works in your time frame. And if something isn't working perfectly, that's okay. Learn from it and then move on from it, or adjust and try to make it better the next time. So that's my be flexible and pivot. And then if I can take just a second, I laugh at your work harder, not wait, shoot, I said it backwards. Work smarter, not harder. Because that's what I've named my little group of 15 of us or whatever. That's my little team because we ain't got time to work harder than we have to. So anyway, that's it.
I love it. Love, love, love. I think we can all relate to, we should be partying more. And that is the foundation of our business. And it's the foundation of our business because every area of our business excels and grows, including us individually when we're having those parties. It's a great thing to point out. And that VO Message Center, again, you guys, this is right on topic for tonight and what we're going to be talking about. So shout out to everybody in the Super 7 Society. So if you don't know what the Super 7 Society is, when you achieve 700 PV in the previous month, look at that, Siba, I corrected your name on this one and not the other ones. Good gravy. When you are achieving $700 in the previous month, you are invited to a super secret and special society of top sellers. It's in a private Facebook group where you're exposed to additional training, additional resources so that you can continue. You're kind of rewarded and celebrated with those resources so that you can continue to achieve that super 700 status. So 700 PV is a great benchmark when getting started. January Comma Club, holla. So if you are a Comma Club, this means that you had $1,000 or more in personal volume in the previous month. So super shout out to all the Comma Club achievers. I love this because we do get to get a few more names on this list beyond that top 10 in sales, guys. So way to go. This is a great number of Comma Club achievers. Whoop, whoop. All right, closing 3 or more beauty socials. So I think it's no wonder that we have seen Wendy, Siba, and Ginger, their names repeated on these recognition slides. Look at those close parties, 5, 5, 4. Bongong and Anda, we saw both of you high in those trip points and high on all of those other stats as well. And again, that's definitely a reflection to what those beauty socials, or as we just mentioned, parties, it's all the same language, but we're referring to the same event, right? So I always want to throw some like fun stuff in here that's just about our profession, because I don't know if you're brand new and you're tuning in to this replay, or if you're maybe a seasoned stylist, but you don't necessarily know that much about direct sales and what happens and why it's so incredibly important. But I just kind of enjoy both of these things. I know when we talk about the opportunity, we share Warren Buffett's advice and, you know, how he feels about direct sales too. But this is just really powerful to me, you guys. When you look over at this statistical wealth here, 4% of employees become millionaires. So that's a really, really, really small number. So when I look at these and I see that business owners are 150 times more likely to attain an 8-figure net worth, we have a better bet betting on ourselves and becoming independent stylists than we do buying a lottery ticket. So I always see all this hubbub on social media about Powerball when it's high, but statistically speaking, our odds are better right here where we're at. So then plugging these same numbers into Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. You guys, Robert Kiyosaki is a world-renowned investor. He's a world-renowned financial advisor, an absolute expert. And he's actually not a direct seller, but a huge supporter of direct sales, because when he started managing finances for multiple millionaires, and they were created through this model really got his attention. And so as a financial advisor of huge achievers financially, this was one of the ways that he started adding into his advice for people looking for financial advice. You know, when you sit down with your financial advisor and really quickly you realize that I could make progress a lot faster if I brought in a little bit more income as far as that future goal looks like. So he started making the advice of joining a direct sales business, coming into this world in this market, because of how quickly you can move into these statistical wealth categories. So, you know, 90% of the world's people are either employees or self-employed. And that's where 10% of the world's money lies, right? Which is why this number over here is so small, with 4% of employees becoming millionaires. They don't have the same access that business owners and investors do. So the goal here is to move from the left side of the quadrant into the right side of the quadrant. And not only have we been able to give ourselves this benefit by becoming independent stylists and transitioning over into the business owner side of the quadrant, but we also have this opportunity for others. So really understanding what is at our fingertips for leveraging our business is pretty powerful. And it's no lie, when you look at those income disclosures and you see those great big incomes, and you know what a small company we are with such an inexpensive and affordable consumable product, we're absolutely set up for a win-win. Okay, so tonight's objective, you guys, is to grow in community as always, and to learn to work smarter, not harder. So tonight we're actually going to highlight some things that are already part of what we do that maybe we're not utilizing to the best of our abilities. So RVO is an incredible system. And when somebody becomes a stylist, they get this e-suite that they have access to, right? And some really great things that come with that e-suite are our CRM, right? Our customer relationship management. That's the VO message center that we all need to be using more often. That's incredible. We also have I'm just going to point out a couple things. So I think this is really important too. We always have to be learning what makes our business different and why it's so special, aside from the gems that we already know that we have. But when we're talking to prospects and they're comparing opportunities, all of our credit card processing is built into the e-suite. You don't pay anything extra for that. Our hostess rewards, so the gifts that our hostesses receive for hosting a party, which also includes us guys, all of that host reward. There is no shared expense with the stylist. And that is also something that's not common in our profession. Also, the shipping, when our hostess achieves free shipping or any of those things, any of the discounted host items and free host items, Those are not things coming out of the stylist pocket. Those are all things that are bundled into our incredible e-suite, not to mention our app, our at our fingertips way to get paid through the pay portal. So many things bundled right there in that e-suite. So, you know, a lot of times it's how you market the e-suite that is really what's going to build excitement. And there's a lot to market there. So do we just say that we have this little $9.95 fee and kind of skip over it? Or are we really sharing the value and what's provided there that makes us stand out and different? The reason lots of companies don't talk about it is because most are not set up with such a lucrative package that we have, or they might have tiers that you can purchase at different package prices monthly. So that is a huge perk for us. So anyways, let's move on to the good stuff. Who loves cookies? I feel like I could have a t-shirt that says body by cookies, but I already have one that says body by queso. So that might make me a liar, but I feel like maybe cookies and queso would be more accurate, and throw some ice cream in there somewhere. I don't know. But even if you don't like cookies, cookies are incredible to understand with our business. And I know this is something that we have talked about a little bit, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more tonight because I'm realizing through a lot of coaching calls that there are some things we're not utilizing that are available to us. And one of these things that comes with being a stylist is the availability to be remembered beyond what we're putting out there, right? So cookies are, just to sum it up, they're just a little tiny piece of data. It's dropped into the device that the person is browsing from, and it helps them to be able to kind of customizes their experience to be able to find the places that they've been better. So what is that? Is it Hansel and Gretel, where they're dropping the crumbs to remember how to get back to where they're going? That's why I chose this cookie with crumbs here, because that's kind of the idea here, right? But then also companies, their servers will collect data when these cookies are dropped of the users, which helps them to get a better overview of their user and customize and develop that experience a little bit further, right? So we're going to talk about how to use these cookies with our business, and then I'm going to rely on your creative brains when we hop into a breakout session in just a little bit. And actually, I'll look at how many of us are on, because maybe we don't even have to switch into that session. But anyways, so customer accounts and cookies. Let's look at this as two separate things here, right? Because before we've kind of bundled them together, but I really want you to understand the paths and how they work differently. So a cookie is something that's very temporary. When a customer visits your website, it doesn't matter how they get there, the cookie is dropped on their device. So I'm attending Seba's party right now. I've never heard of Color Street before. I'm clicking on the link to shop, and let's say I never buy. There was still a cookie dropped on my device so that when Misty's at work next week talking about her nails that she got from Seba's party, and I'm all jealous, I'm going to go Google Color Street. I don't care whether I find Seba again or not. Sorry, Seba. I'm just Googling Color Street. I want something fast. And guess what's going to pop up? It's going to take her to where she's already been because of that cookie. So she wasn't looking for Seba, but she's going to get right back to Seba. It's like a match made in heaven. This was like divine intervention is what it feels like for the user, right? That's enhancing the user's experience on our site. It's bringing them back to something that is familiar. So these cookies are valuable for us for so many different reasons. But you guys, we're in a world where there's we've bought a franchise, right? And there's lots of our franchise, and we want to stand out. So when you're thinking of whether I'm going to take somebody to my You, Me, Who shopping link, or I'm going to take them to my Color Street shopping link, which one do you think is going to be more beneficial? Your You, Me, Who is not dropping a cookie in their device for them to come back to. So absolutely, your Color Street website is more beneficial. So it's no wonder that people doing parties early on in their business are still winning here, right? So now let's look at the creating the account. Now, cookies are something that people delete all the time, right? Like if you're struggling with your device, what's the first piece of advice? Oh, device advice. I feel like I could start rapping here in a minute. So I'm going to not do this. But usually the first advice you get is to clear cache and cookies, right? So we clear cache and cookies with the exception of sometimes we preserve our passwords so that we're not pulling our hair out, working backwards all the time. I don't know about y'all, but I spend a lot of time resetting passwords. But anyways, we clear cache and cookies. So then that cookie trail is gone. But when our customer or user has an account, it is never gone, because it doesn't matter how they get back to Color Street. When they go to shop, no matter how they check out, boom, they're going to be reassigned back to the stylist who the account was created through. So this is really powerful. You have two separate tools here available to lead your customer back to you always. You've got the temporary, we'll call it semi-permanent cookie. Some people never clear their cookies, so you're on that device till they get a new one, right? So that can be semi-permanent. And then we have the permanent of the account creation. So let's take a look at how we can marry these two things together. First of all, if you don't know where to find your unique account creation link, you're going to start here on create an account. Usually if you hit the login button, this screen pops up and you've got create an account. You're going to start here. And then after you click create an account, this next screen is what pops up. And you want to make sure, right? Here's the stylist still. This is still me. This person is creating an account on my website. So I added something down here at the bottom because it's just so incredibly powerful. Retaining current customers is 6 to 7 times less costly than acquiring new ones. So we're not necessarily putting a dollar amount of customer acquisition on most of our customers. Most of us are not, but can you put a time value on that pretty easily? I mean, when you're thinking about how many parties you've done and how many of these people keep coming back to your website, or if you skipped the account creation part, how many are not, and how much time it takes to go back and recreate that over and over again, you can see how we can create the ripple effect, or we can just drop something straight to the bottom and attain 0 ripples at all, right? So this is something that's really valuable here. So this is how you know where you're at. You're at the right spot, as if it takes you here, you're going to copy the URL from this screen right here. That is your unique link. Okay, so moving on. This is a way that you can marry a temporary cookie drop and your permanent accounts, right? These are a couple ways that I do it. This is my own stuff right here that I'm sharing with you. When I'm hosting a party or a girls' night in or shipping anything out from my VIP, always the person is prompted to go over here and create their account link. I don't say, hey, send me your mailing address, right? Because that doesn't take either one of us any further. I could be mailing free product out to Amy's customers, right? And I would never know. So in exchange for this free gift, you're getting an account created on your website. That can be a priceless tool. So make sure you're always utilizing that. For parties, I will do a post that is a giveaway because it's a party and we have party swag for everyone. I always want to throw my hands in the air because I feel like it's like confetti, and I don't know. You probably are not picking this up from my graphic, but that's what's going on in my head. I'm throwing confetti at this party, right? And so what happens here is that they comment on this post, they create once they've created their account, it tells them how to do it right here. Whoops, sorry. It tells them how to do it over here. I'm going to move my mouse slower. They create their account, go down there and comment done. And then I message them back that as soon as they comment, that's how they've claimed their party swag. So I know then when they comment done, I can hop over to my VO, look them up, bam, that person's there, and I can send them their party swag. What's party swag? It's whatever the heck you want it to be. I still mail out twosies. In the beginning, I mailed out twosies before people ordered, and I realized that was not working smarter, not harder. It was working harder, not smarter, right? Because I was waiting, they were waiting to get the product before they would decide if they were going to make a purchase or not, which was dragging out the party. And we're battling law of diminishing intent at that point. What you got, Siba?
Okay, so on the virtual office, I know how to send a message to all the people who have an account because I just click the purple envelope. I don't know how to look someone up to find their mailing address based on the account they created. Is that something you could tell us about at some point?
Absolutely. Let's just go over it right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your message center, click on your contacts, and then your form is going to populate, right? I keep all the boxes checked. I keep host, customer, all the thing. I never uncheck any of those. And then this big form is going to populate. you can click on those headers. So let's say that I see Andrea Siba Lalonde has commented on my post. She created an account. So I'm going to take Lalonde and I'm going to type that into the little, there's a little arrow. Are you on your VO right now? Okay, so next to the last name in the column, there is a little drop down button. You click that. I can make a video for this if you want. And it says, you can, it says something like starts with or matches or whatever in that comment, that section. You just type in the last name and everybody with that last name will populate. Then you can click on the customer ID of that person.
Okay, maybe a video later.
I'll do a video. Yep, you got it.
Thanks.
And the other way to search that, guys, is to just click, you know, that is a working document when you run that report. So you can click on those column headers and it will alphabetize it. And you can take the long route of clicking through until I see the L's for Lalonde. And then I'm going to find Siba, click on her identification number because she created an account. And then voila, I've got all of that information there, right? Okay, so one more tip, guys, when you're at your events and you're doing a giveaway, if you do a form that people fill out, you're creating a lot of work for yourself because that means you have to go home and input all of that information into your customer database. And PS, who knows when that's going to be deleted if they didn't have an account. So a great way to do that right here is I've just shown an example here of how I create my little QR code. If you scan this, it's going to take you right to my account creation website. And that's the way that they enter to win. So I see them doing it and then bam, that's their entry. I also take them over to my VIP. But anyways, try to keep your work on the back end as simple as possible, but making sure that you have the ability to always stay in front of your customers. So let's talk about what this did. Whether you are here, like this is an example of my VIP who got a prize in Game Night In, right? So I sent her here to enter her shipping information. This is an example on the right-hand side of a party and how they claim their prize by creating the account, commenting done when you're done. Over here is the example of when you're at an event, how they enter to win, right? And each one of these, guess what it does? It drops the cookie because it took them to the website. And then two, it created the permanent step of creating that account for your customer. So these are some other ways to drop those cookie crumbs so that people can continue to find it. When you are sharing application videos, I know there's some really great stuff on YouTube, you guys, but we have professionally done videos right on our customer facing website. When you go copy that URL, it is unique to your website. That's a cookie drop. Ta-da! You're not getting that on YouTube. When you are sharing your catalog, again, quit it with the Yumi Who. I know it's easy and convenient, but you're getting zero future business on Yumi Who. If you share your clickable catalog, boom, 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 you've got all the ways to do that. And by the way, no poo-pooing Yumi Who here. Like really, if you're using Yumi Who, I get the reason why you like it, all the things. Make sure that if somebody is going to, once they've paid for their order, you're sending them to create their account so that you can ship it out, right? There's still that extra step that you've got to punch in there to get that residual business. And the reason I am sort of poo-pooing it is it is out of PNP, just FYI. So that's not a tool I use. And I found a lot of success in sharing the customer link or the catalog link and being able to keep that in front of customers that way. Then sharing your virtual opportunity brochure. How many of you guys are mailing that brochure? I can't tell you how many people I talk to that are like creatively folding it around the set, dropping it into the envelope, you know, so that it all fits nicely. It's great. And that's a wonderful thing to mail out. Don't have to stop doing that. But what if you took the step of you shared the virtual brochure first? That virtual brochure, again, does that cookie drop. So every time you go to mail one, remind yourself, pinch yourself, take a note, something to also utilize that virtual brochure as well. By the way, if there is ever something that changes and print needs to change, that virtual brochure is the one that's always going to be updated first. So that's another tool there as well. Oh, Arlene has a hand up. What you got, girl?
Yeah, I was just wondering about like dropping these cookies and stuff. I know a couple of my customers like to support a couple of stylists. And so like if they do an account creation with me and then follow up and do an account creation with the other person, how does that work? Is it like it's whoever their latest one is?
Yeah, so that's a great question. If they have created an account with you, and this is kind of a great purpose for them to have an account, they have to use an entirely separate email or check out as a guest with that other stylist. So that's one of the great purposes of that account creation, especially like at events and stuff. You know, people will stumble upon us all the time. They don't have a reason yet. That the event wasn't long enough time for them to know why they want to continue coming back to us. But they had a stylist once upon a time. They fell in love with Color Street. That stylist gone. You guys, I know if you're doing events, you're running into that all the time. So this person is shopping with you this day. This is a reason to get them to create that account now, so that then you have that opportunity to follow up, get back in their inbox, but you're staying on their device and they're staying connected to you through that account. So yeah, I know that was just a lot of information, but to fully answer your question, they have to have a separate email to create a separate account with an additional stylist. Okay, so the other thing, guys, another underutilized tool that I've been discovering through different calls is a lot of people are not utilizing the host portal. Okay, so if you have ever sat down and inputted contacts into your VO after you did an event the long way, where people were filling out forms to enter a drawing or whatever, and you're writing down all of you're manually entering these contacts, you know how long that takes. Did you know your hostess is happy to do that? She's happy to do it with the people that she's inviting to her party because she just needs a name, a phone number, email address. She almost always has that right here. And your hostess is going to do it because it's not daunting. She's adding 10 to 15 people to her host portal. And then what this is doing is it's building your contact center through your VO. Ta-da! The best part is this is really going to maximize her party too, because our hostess portal has so many tools for the hostess to message her guests and to remind her guests. All of that is available through that host portal after she adds her contacts to the portal. So of course, and then encourage the account creation, because we just talked about how that is a double whammy. So you guys, I hope your brain is spinning right now about ways that you can drop cookies, which means you're sending people to your website, and ways that you can utilize account creation, right? Because we can say, hey, I'd love for you to create an account. That's not going to have the same effectiveness as, hey, drop your shipping address right here. Let me know when you're done. I'll get your gift in the mail right away, right? There's a different motive behind doing that from the customer standpoint. So what we're going to do next is to just break out for 10 minutes. We'll probably do 2 breakout rooms, maybe 3. What I want you to do is everybody have an opportunity to talk and share. Every brilliant mind here is working their business and brainstorm ways that we can share with our teams to get drop these cookies, get these crumbs leading back to us, right? And to also encourage account creation. So right now, I'm just going to turn on those breakout rooms. Any questions, by the way, about breakout room topics before we break out? No, everybody's good. Bunch of smart people. I love you all. Okay, so 2 rooms assigned autumn. Oh, that's a lot of people per room. We're going to add a room. 1 second. All right, here we go, guys. I'll see you in the rooms in just a minute. I love when you guys are slow to come back, because that always means that you're having really good conversations in these breakout rooms. So whoop, whoop.
I just want to say that was really nice, because it was nice to hear what other people are doing in their businesses individually, and like, oh yeah, I should do a little bit of that with a little bit of this and a little bit of that person. So thanks, room 2.
All right, guys. So what ideas were your groups able to come up with? So right now, just keep in mind, this topic is about dropping cookies and about creating accounts. So what ideas did your groups come up with in connection to that topic?
Well, sometimes I think I like using the virtual office message system for like the things that I do in my group. But I think, Bongong talked about sending an email with the new collections because they might be missing that in the VIP group or missing that from the corporate emails. And I think that's something I've been hesitant to do, and I need to do it. And I just the feedback that I got from the ladies as far as like, right, like we're sharing, not selling. We could do mixed Manny ideas. We could do combination ideas. And I feel like I need to incorporate that because I think she's right. I think I'm missing an opportunity there.
And that VO message center, guys, is a great way to continue pushing accounts and a great way to renew that cookie. So when somebody's cleared their cache and cookie, having your links incorporated in that email, make sure that when you're sending your emails from your VO, you're never sending one without a link. Super, super important there. So that's another way to drop cookies. That's good. We're going to talk about that email VO message center at the end of this call. So we're definitely going to want to stay on for that. Anybody else have some cookie and account ideas?
So one of the things that I've done was when the new catalog came around, I messaged everybody. And also when we had the big blog sale for Thanksgiving, I messaged everybody. I said, hey, they can get this deal directly from the website. Make sure you register and then get your offer. And then whatever I did on the side as an extra incentive for them, just let them know what that was. I think taking stock of who is your customer that does not have an account present in your VO is probably important, and offering select incentives to those to participate and create an account would be helpful. And then, yeah, just offering a free set, you could do buy 3, get 2 free, and, or buy 3, get 3 free. You get your first 4 from the website, you get a free one, for the promo, and then you get the 6th one if you open the account or something along those lines, as long as you have the sets to do that.
Absolutely.
But I think once you do it, they get emails with what's new on the website. What I find is that my customers that have accounts, they don't typically order from the website. Maybe they order once a year, but they message me and say, hey, I saw this is coming up. I want one of them. I'm like, okay, fine, just my arm.
Did anybody come up with subscription boxes? That's another great way to have accounts created. And the reason that this is so timely and I felt like important to talk about right now is we know about the big data purge, right? Where we have all these customers that are going to be purged from our virtual office. The people who are staying are the people who have accounts or people that you have manually entered. So definitely, if you don't want to lose lots of contacts through that message center through the VO, this is a great time to really encourage those accounts more than you ever have before, so that you're not losing that contact and not losing the ability to stay in front of that customer. Did anybody else have some ways to keep that account creation in front of people or dropping cookies?
I said that you can start doing it even when you're at events. You can make a QR code with your information and say, hey, go ahead and make an account, especially if they're already buying. Have them make that account so you have their information. You're getting their information anyways. I hope that's what you guys are doing. So you might as well have them do it on, bring your phone. Obviously you're gonna have your phone or your whatever the way oh my gosh, computer or whatnot you have, and just have them do that and make say everyone who does that, put them in a where they can win something. Everyone likes free sets. Everyone likes, you don't even have to give free sets. You can give prizes. Everyone just likes winning free something. It doesn't matter. It can be jacuzzi's. As long as they're winning something, they love it. So I think that would be a great idea, is just even when you're at an event to make sure that they register, especially if they already bought something from you. Or if they come up and say, oh, I'll buy later, now that I have your information, have them right there and then, if they're comfortable. I mean, don't be pushy where they're not going to want to do it, but make it fun for them.
I love it. And that brings up another thing here, Misty, that I think is important. Can you guys still see my screen? Are we on Create an Account?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this right here, this is the little QR that I use to scan to win, right? So I'll have a little gift on my table. This is your opportunity to win. You scan here when you're at an event for the chance to win. That's their entry. But also keep this in mind. When somebody is checking out at my event, guess what I have them do? I don't want them to write all their information down on the order form and then have to enter it into this account creation, right? So I just have them jot down their first and last name. That's it. And then once we get to the checkout part and we're going back and forth between the order form and, you know, totaling their order, right? So I've got some time working, I give them something to do. And I just grab this little card that I have in my little frame and I have them scan this to enter the rest of their information right there. So guess what they're doing? They're entering to win, and that account's creating, and that cookie's dropping. Then they also didn't have to duplicate their info. So okay, guys, so gosh, we've really gone over. Thank you for your time tonight. Just wanted to do a little housekeeping here to help you have a little bit more success with dropping cookies, because you know you can utilize cookies of other sites to keep yourself in front of customers. So when our website went through some updates, these are things that sometimes people have never gone in and looked, and if they're a new stylist, they've never done it before. So this is a great reminder of what to do to customize your account. And we'll get to why this is effective with cookies in just a minute. So to do this, you're in your VO and you click up here where you see your name and picture. Then you click settings. You are going to default to this tab on the left, which is account settings. And then you're just going to scroll all the way down to where you see the bottom of the page. The last section is called website information. And that section right there is what holds all of your social channels. And it also has a place for you to put a message. So we cannot have Google Ads, but we can optimize search engines by using things in our message that are top searched keywords in regards to Color Street. So think about that custom message. I believe you get 40 characters. Think of what's popular and trending in Color Street right now and use those keywords in that message. So that's going to help you be discovered, right? That helps with search engine optimization. But the other important part here with utilizing cookies from other sites, put all of your social handles in down there. And if you don't have, let's say Twitter, or you don't have a Pinterest or something, that's fine. You can either A, create one, or B, put in a handle to something that you do use. So if you don't use Twitter and you put in, maybe on this one, you put in your Facebook VIP group, then when they click on it, it's still going to take them to your Facebook VIP group. So it's taking them somewhere. But what I mean about utilizing site cookies from other sites, guess what happens with Facebook? When you put your public profile, and as a stylist, your profile is public, and you put your public profile handle under the Facebook icon, and somebody visits your Facebook profile, whether they engage with you or not, whether they send you a friend request, engage in any of your content, it doesn't matter. The magic thing is going to come up with a suggested friend throughout the week, which is another way to keep you in front of your customers. So it's utilizing the cookies of an outside site to stay in front of your customers. So if you do not put these handles in there and you leave them blank, it reroutes your customer to Color Street handles. So why is this important? If you reroute your customer to a Color Street handle, guess what the new cookie is? It's the corporate site, not yours. So that's just something that's really important to remember. The last thing I want to say here is Pinterest is another really, really great place right now to make sure you're dropping cookies. So when you post any nail fee on Pinterest, create a board dedicated to Color Street, use your keywords, guys. SEO is a real thing, and Pinterest is a great way to build SEO. Create boards. You know, this isn't something that you all have to go do. This is just a little added extra, right? A way to be found and to drop cookies. Create boards for each one of our product lines. So maybe you've got nail fees, maybe you've got mixed fannies. You can have those images crossing. You've got our lipsticks. You've got all of that stuff, right? Or maybe you've got a blonde hair and pale skin as a board. And maybe you've got another skin type as another board so that people can find you. You're going to use keywords in the description of your boards, keywords in your pins. Don't overthink this. And then make sure that you have your link on every single pin. It is a huge way to build SEO. And when people do discover you, then you're going to be able to drop your cookie into other devices and meet people in that regard. So I'm going to stop share right now, guys. I just want to thank you for your time tonight. This was a lot of stuff that we talked about, but all ways that we can work smarter, not harder. Some of these things are stuff you're going to want to implement immediately, like account creation, important, cookie drop, important. And these are just little steps that plug into our daily process of doing business right now. The added stuff on the last slide might be something down the road. But the importance of using those things, by the way, there's one in there at the bottom on that website information that has a spot for you to put your website name. Put a name in there. You can put Color Street Stylist Sarah, for example. You can put that in there. And then when the email delivers, instead of it coming up Sarah, who they might not know right off of the top of their head, it's going to come up Color Street Sarah first. So then they're like, oh, I do know Color Street, or Dry Nail Polish Sarah, or something like that. Whatever you put, just keep in mind that is going to show up on the header of your website every time somebody visits. But the key part of utilizing that tool is you can create it in a way that's going to get more clicks on the inbox. So for anybody who wants to stay on for a couple more minutes, let's talk about frequency of emails. And for everybody else, thank you so much for spending some time this evening. I've so missed your faces, like this once a month thing. Okay, it's for the birds. But I hope it's giving you more nights to party and more nights to do income producing activities, but I've sure missed your faces. Okay, so I'm going to say,
can you say what the last thing was when it said, you said an input, where is that?
So that's the same process. Let me go back to screen share here real quick. We're going to go back to Canva on that last screen. The last screen right here. So when you're in settings, so you're going to start up here where your name is, right? Settings, it's going to default to account settings. And then you scroll down. And when you scroll down, you're under a section called website information. And in that section, there's something that says website name or something along those lines. It's not at the top where it's not here where you're changing your website. It's not the one below it that is your stylist ID, but it's on down at in that bottom section of website information where it's got a blank box to fill in the name of your site.
And that'll change that'll change the email that goes out, and in the top of the top where it says Hannah Steelman,
So
or will it just change the email?
It won't change here. This is in your VO, so this will always have your name. But on your customer facing website, there is a spot right here that has your name. So if, let's say, for example, let's say it says Color Street founding stylist Raquel Lopez, it will display that whole thing here. But on your email, what they're going to see is Color Street Raquel until they click on it. And then it doesn't repeat again until the signature line of your email.
Okay, thank you.
So let's talk about emails just briefly for those of you who want to stay on. Frequency of emails is something that we don't talk about a whole lot, and email statistics are really interesting to me. Like,